La la la, hey, hey, yeah, yeah.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Daytime. We are so pleased and honored to welcome Smiley, the blind therapy dog, here to the show. And of course his owners, we have Joanne George and we have Shepherd George here to help share the story about Smiley, because a lot of people recognize him in the community now.
But don't know the whole story.
But don't know the story behind Smiley. So Joanne, tell us about Smiley.
So Smiley was born into a puppy mill here in Ontario, and he stayed there until he was 2 years old. And I was a veterinary technician, and we went into the puppy mill to treat some of the animals. And anyway, Smiley and maybe 15 to 20 of the other Goldens came home with us, and we found everybody homes, and but Smiley we could not find a home for, so he ended up staying with me. And he was born
blind?
Born without eyes.
Oh, without eyes. Okay. And you noticed that, well, one of the problems was that nobody wanted to adopt him. Mm-hmm. But Smiley had gone through a couple of years of bullying.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because he didn't have eyes.
The other dogs, when I got him, he had some wounds on his face and splits in his ears. Mm-hmm. The other dogs, did pick on him. Food was probably a little scarce.
Yeah.
And so when he would go towards food, I would assume that it was somebody else's food, and they would snap at him. And so, yeah, they were picking on him.
He was being picked on, for sure. When you couldn't find a home for Smiley, what were some of the reasons people weren't? I mean, was it because he didn't have eyes?
It truly was. People are not familiar back then, anyway, with a dog that was born with such a disability. They thought, oh, I have a cottage. I couldn't bring him to the cottage because he's blind. Oh, I like to go hiking. I couldn't have a blind dog. They wouldn't be able to go hiking. I have other dogs. We like to, they just didn't think that a blind dog could fit into their life. Mm-hmm. It would be too difficult to train. That's what I heard a lot. He'd be too difficult to train. I couldn't do that.
And so you saw firsthand that the humans, we were putting labels on a dog and on Smiley right away, almost limiting his any potential.
Without even giving him a chance.
When did you know that you had to have this dog?
Truly, I kept looking for a home for him for, a good 6 to 8 months. Yeah. And finally I just thought, why am I still looking? Why won't I keep him?
Yeah.
He's doing so great with me. And so I just stopped looking, and
Smiley became a permanent member of the family.
Absolutely.
Your son, Shepherd, is here today, and Shepherd Hi. Thanks for coming in today.
Welcome.
Smiley is your best friend, right? And I see that you're very much involved in taking care of Smiley. I mean, what are some of the things you like to do with Smiley?
Go to the cottage.
Yeah?
Go dog walking.
You take him for nice long walks?
Go on the beach with him.
Oh, does he like the beach?
He loves the beach. He likes swimming.
Oh,
he plays in the water with you, doesn't he? Yeah.
And so you guys are really close, because even when you were a baby, when Shepherd was a baby, I mean, he's never known life without Smiley, of course. What was that like, seeing them interact when Smiley is almost like your first baby?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you have Shepherd, and the two really clicked, didn't they?
Absolutely. I was worried at first, truthfully. He had never been around a lot of children before I had Shepherd.
Right.
And I was worried, and babies, you put them on the floor. That's a safe place for them. I worried that he wouldn't see the baby and, step on him, things like that. But soon, this baby became a scent to Smiley, and it was, if he walked into a room, he would know that Shepherd was in that room. And, you can really create, this greatness of a baby that the dog understands, that it really teaches them to respect the baby and give a young baby quite a bubble, and be cautious. And then as Shepherd grew older, the bubble could get smaller, and they could have more interactions. And but he was just so wonderful right from the beginning. Yeah,
he's definitely a very special dog, and he has now, I mean, over the years, he is a St. John ambulance therapy dog, and has many important roles with that organization. Can you tell us about that?
So therapy dogs are all just truly magnificent animals, and their handlers. But we concentrate with Smiley now is working with children He's got so many lessons to teach.
He does.
And I find that, working in the schools and in classrooms and libraries and things like that, we get to more people that we can. And he's got so many great lessons to teach children, like the anti-bullying. Just because he was born different doesn't mean that we should treat him any differently and pick on him. And the kids really, they can empathize with that and relate. And like I said, just being born different. All children, I think, go through that, that period of, I'm different from other kids. They feel different, and maybe they feel like, it's, they're comparing themselves. And maybe some kids have to work a little harder to, achieve things. So it's, working hard to overcome their adversities. Even just community helpers, in kindergarten and grade 1, they're learning about community helpers and how you can give back. And this is how we show that Smiley gives back.
Smiley volunteers. Yes, he
exactly.
does.
And we make people smile, don't we?
Do you
People who are sad.
find, Shepherd, that wherever you go, people love Smiley? Why do you think that is?
Because he's a St. John's therapy dog.
Yeah, he's a good ambassador,
smile.
isn't he? And he makes people smile. Hence the name Smiley.
Yeah.
When we come back, we'll just have a couple more minutes with you guys, and we'll keep talking about Smiley and sharing the amazing story of Smiley right after this. Everybody, welcome back to the show. We are looking at Smiley, the blind therapy dog, and of course, his brother, Shepherd George. We also have Joanne George, who has been the owner of Smiley for 14 years now. Hard to believe he's 14, right?
He's 14, and I've had him for 12.
Oh, you've had him for 12.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he was 2 when I got him.
Right. And one of the other things we wanted to talk about was how Smiley goes into schools. Obviously, he goes in and you talk about anti-bullying, but he also has played an important role in getting kids to come out of their shell, be more confident and relaxed when it comes to reading and literature. How did that develop?
St. John's has a program called Pause for Stories.
Okay.
And what it is parents sign their children up in this program who are struggling to read out loud in class, or reading with confidence type of thing. So they come in at a certain time in the library and sit with Smiley, and they choose their books and they sit with Smiley and they read to Smiley. And when they first start out, they talk very quietly, and they're struggling to keep the sentence flowing and things like that. And after a few sessions, because Smiley is not judging and not, correcting or anything like that, and they're patting Smiley while they're reading. And so they're not thinking of the words and thinking of making a mistake. They're not thinking of reading out loud. They're thinking of Smiley and they're reading. And so it becomes more fluent. They talk louder, and sometimes that's the only thing I'll ever say is sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe Smiley can't hear you. We might have to speak a little louder. And so so they'll, they just become better readers, especially out loud. And if everybody can remember back in school that how stressful it is when the teacher chooses you to read a paragraph out of that book in front of the class. It's you're afraid of the kids, giggling, that somebody's going to correct you, and it's scary, and wow, I see such a difference in these kids throughout the program. Working with Smiley.
This must be so rewarding for you.
He just loves it. Oh, absolutely.
He loves it, doesn't he?
I love it. Smiley loves it. And the children or whoever we're visiting love it. And we do a lot of work with the special needs classrooms as well.
Oh, great.
And that's really, I really enjoy that as well. They can relate, they were also born different, and they also see how happy he is and how he can do anything. And,
there's just so many lessons behind
Absolutely.
this. And you must think that, in a way, Smiley being born without eyes has been a gift for so many people
Yeah.
because of what people have really
Absolutely
gotten out of him.
learned from him. That's what we say. He is definitely a special gift, and that's
Yeah.
why I definitely chose to share him.
Share
you
his
know, in
story.
this way. Yeah.
He's also been on the Meredith Vieira show. He's been on
Yeah.
Caesar Milan. I mean,
yeah.
he's a very popular dog because of what
Yeah.
he can do,
Yeah.
and he's
a
so
ther-
amazing.
He's a therapy dog around the world.
Around the
You know
world.
what? There's a lot of therapy dogs, but there's not many that.
Not many Smileys.
Yeah.
No. Thank you, Smiley, for coming in today. Thank you as well,
Thank you for
Joanne
having us.
and
You're fine.
Shepherd. You got your bobblehead as well? He's got the cutest little bobblehead of Smiley. Go to Facebook, guys. On Facebook, you can actually search for Smiley. You'll see photos and all kinds of posts about Smiley, and you can connect as well. We'll be right back. We'll be right back.